I want to talk about like cancel culture, shaming people for their opinions and the perspective and the problems with it. I think the problem is when you like have this knee jerk reaction to kind of like shame people and just attack people for perspective, even if that perspective is kind of wrong and kind of fucked up. Um, I think the problem with it is sometimes that perspective is not wrong, and sometimes that perspective is um, right and you're wrong, but in your ego, you can't see that. Also, I think even if you're morally right or whatever, I think it creates people to be fake and it creates people to kind of like, you know, have not be able to like be honest and share their opinion and perspective because out of fear. And I don't think that's a good thing. And especially when it starts, um, when men become like that, because then it makes men, I feel like, weak and timid and lose their masculinity. You know, I think a big part of like masculinity is speaking how you feel, even if like how you feel people may perceive it as wrong or perceive you as an asshole, you know. And so, and me personally, I rather like niggas be real. You know what I mean? I rather, you know, you be honest. And if you are a bit of an asshole, I rather know that instead of you pretending to not be real. You know what I mean? Or kind of conforming to an idea or opinion out of fear. And I think that's what you do when you use guilt and shame and you know you're waving your finger. People just kind of like fall in line out of fear. And I think when you see dudes do that, it's kind of like it's it's even worse because it's just like you know even if you have guys like falling in line, do you really want guys like that? You know what I mean? It's you know it just it's bad. And then the problem with you know canceling, it's like maybe in some cases you know people who's fucking terrible and they need to be canceled, but you know what I mean. Most of the time, you know, none of us deserve that authority because we're imperfect and sometimes you can think somebody's wrong and an asshole, but if you were, but sometimes you're emotional and you just can't accept hard truths, and then you cancel a person, and you're because you're wrong, and it's because you're just human and you're infallible, and so you know I feel like a lot of times that's too much power to give a small amount of people, you know what I mean, and so and I rather just know what people are really about than for people to be like, you know, doing shit out of fear because they don't want to get canceled. You just get a bunch of fake ass people, you know what I mean? And sometimes you know, sometimes the shit you don't that you think is like I was saying, the shit you think is like bad and hateful is just a harsh reality. And some people can see that, may be able to see that, and you may not be able to. So, you know, there's a lot of kind of things in society where you think you're 100% right, and then you find, oh, well, actually, you know, you know, you were wrong. You know, and society's always changing what's, you know, things that you know are acceptable and things that aren't. We're always we learn more, we learn new things, and it's like weed was really unacceptable. You know what I mean? And now it's much more accepted. So there's just tons of things in society that made it seem like wrong at first look, but with closer look, you know, they're not wrong. And there's certain things that seem good, but with closer look, they're not so good. So I think we have to, you know what I'm saying, like, you know, kind of just, we can criticize things and we can debate things, but I think we have to be a little less triggered and kind of like, you know what I'm saying, just like calm down a bit and just not be so quick to label somebody something. 'Cause, you know what I mean? And learn to hear people out. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like there's a lot of, I mean, you'd cancel everything. You know what I'm saying? Like you can cancel the freaking Bible. You know what I mean? Like we would all be canceled. You know what I mean? If you know what I mean? If you really look at things. So I think we have to accept more and just accept. And then you can't expect people to just be perfect. You know what I mean? And I think like there's a group of people nowadays, if they see any perfection in you, if they see anything that's kind of like dark, you know what I mean? They want to shut you down or just put a label on you. And it's like if we put everybody under that scrutiny, then we would all be screwed. You know, because if you put a, you know, if you judge everybody like that, you're gonna find darkness in everybody. It's just the reality of the world. You know, there's duality. There's the good and the bad, yin and the yang. So we'd all be canceled. And then it also sets up an unfair thing because it's like, you know, you let some people get away with the fucking hateful shit, but then you don't let these people get away with it. You know, and it's like, it just, you know, it just seems unfair. So I think, yeah, I think that's the problem with canceling people or just socially, you know, outcasting people. You get people to fall in line, maybe, um, but they do it in a like a weak way. And then the people that ain't gonna fall in line are just gonna double down. So even if they are believing something hateful and fucked up that they should kind of look at, a lot of times when you kind of threaten people like that, they just double down on their bullshit. So I feel like any way you look at it, it's kind of not that great of a thing, you know. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of get into that, you know. All right, short little video. Peace.